I told everybody at the beginning that I love this film so much, so I'm happy to finally have a chance to do a Q&A with you. I'm going to start with just a couple of quick questions, and I'm sure they have a lot to do as well. So I think the very basic setting is the scene. How did you decide to set the film within this your community?
Well, I've been fascinating with the community for many years. There's been many documentaries about this community, and I thought it would be great to try and do a fiction film there. Also, it's kind of contains all the themes that really were important to me. This original ideas about the contrast and that exists in Macedonia and in these villages as well.
And when you were looking to cast, were you looking for non-professionals? Were you looking for local actors? Talk a little bit about the casting process, how you found your amazing lead actor here.
Yes, so I knew that the film had to be authentic as much as possible and to respect the culture. So we definitely wanted the main actor to be from one of these communities. We saw, I think, around 3,000 children from around 50 villages in Macedonia, and came down to around 60. And then we found Arif, and then we did different kinds of combinations of brothers. For Agus, who's also absolutely amazing, I love him, and then the chemistry they had kind of really put it all together, and I knew we had a film.
Excellent. And I'm so rude. Can you introduce your team up here so that everybody knows who's done what?
We have Ivan Umkowski, who's my brother and the producer of the film, without whom. Then we have Ivana Shekutkowska, also producer of the film, amazing, without him, also not possible. And Naum Baksevsky is the DOP of the film, without him, none of this film.
I'd actually like to address a question now. There's obviously such a strong visual look to the film, it's meaning that visual style.
We started somehow from the beginning. I remember when Georgie told me the story about this film. At that time, I think it wasn't a script. I was like amazed with the idea and the story. And then we continued with extensive location scouting for the village. For the village that we needed, and I think it was for us important to find the best locations, the best village that reflects the Europe people in general. I think we visit more than 50-60 villages probably in Macedonia, and we end up with this village that you saw in the film. That was very important. A lot of things were important for the whole look. The costumes, as you saw in the film, they're so kind of authentic and strong visually. That was also a very important part for us. And I don't know. Then a lot of talkings about how we want to this film to look, and then I don't know. Yeah, like
a lot of thought about how to do this with natural lighting and minimize lighting in the outdoors, basically no lighting, and indoor very subtle. I think he works great with light. And also, since he mentioned the village, I wanted to mention that coincidentally, the village that we chose in the end is the same village where Arif is from. So I just wanted to mention that.
Great.
So in this, obviously, like a big potent theme in this film is that youthful ambition and the clash with the rural conservatism, if you can call it that way. But at no point in the film it felt like stereotypical or disrespectful in any way. So I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about the screenwriting process and the research that went into it, and like portraying these village traditions without necessarily making them a mere obstacle to the plot.
Did everybody hear the question?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think from the very beginning it was very important to me that I don't take side, say, okay, youth is right, tradition is bad. It was definitely very important for me, and I just wanted to kind of have that as the backdrop without passing judgment, and then show the struggles of Ahmet floating through this community. And because I think that both sides have positive and negative things, both in tradition, we have things we should cherish, and both in modernity we have things we should cherish. So those things should somehow coexist.
Great, thank you for the question. In the middle of top middle, yeah, you.
Me? Oh, we're both kind of top middle.
Okay, the very top, and then we'll come down.
All right. Hi. I wanted to ask a question about Naeem. It appeared to me, I might be completely wrong with this and biased, but it appeared to me that he was very much coded to be on the spectrum, which my brother is also on the spectrum, and that hit really close to home for me because he also looks a lot like your actor for Naeem and acts a lot like him, largely nonverbal, etc. So, can you tell me a little bit of what went into that process of his character and casting, etc.?
So I'm very glad that resonated with you. So it means a lot. I think that's the most I could wish for. For me personally, it was his I would call it selective mutism is power caused by trauma. So that's where I am coming from, but that doesn't mean and I'm really glad that it resonated with you in this way. So, but we tried to do it in a very minimal kind of way without emphasizing on. I didn't want it to be stereotypical in any way in this mutism, and I think finding him, that he's an absolute gem to work with, absolute marvel. Like I think 1 in a million. We got really lucky that he could express so much with his eyes and his face, but he just doesn't need words to convey emotion. So yeah.
Any neurodivergent representation is a win in my book, so I'm very happy to
Thank
do
you.
that.
I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you. And then yes.
Yeah, absolutely love the film, and just love the
Music when I write, and I was inspired by music even before I started writing, and of course I spent hours and hours listening and choosing music that never got into the film in the end, and we knew I got stuck with these few tracks of I Dance at the Festival, and that was maybe one of the first ones that I knew I wanted in. But then when we wanted to do the soundtrack, right? So we worked with two great composers, Alan and Nenad Singhas, Croatian brothers, and I'm really happy with how they came to the solution to combine this traditional and modern, because we come from Macedonia. There's a lot of village films coming out from Macedonia, right? So I knew from the beginning that I wanted this to be a modern village film, so to kind of separate from what we've seen before. And I think they really nailed that combination of traditional and modernity, and not getting stuck into the stereotypical ethno, let's say, music.
Great. Thank you.
It was a very kind of how to say people. Yeah, it had to be done in a very gentle way, right? In a very kind of non-offensive way, right? So I was thinking, I was inspired by this video of the Oja falling asleep on the microphone. I think it's from Pakistan, this legendary video, and there's people from the windows hearing the snoring, it's echoing through the city. And I was just thinking about how the Oja is just a regular person, right? So he has to deal with this new technology as well, and his struggle, and I thought, I think we did it well.
I think you did. One last question. I saw you first right there. Yes.
it seems that there's a struggle.
I'm really excited to have the premiere in Istanbul, hopefully in 1 month from now. So I'm looking forward to see how the reactions are going to be. Macedonia definitely has, a huge mix of even types of Islam right within. So I think for the Turkish Islam is one of the more moderate ones, I would say. But let's see. I don't know.
We do have to wrap up, but I want to thank you so much for bringing DJ Ahmet to the festival. Thank you, Georgie. Thank you. And don't forget to vote as part of the audience awards, so make sure you cast your ballot. Oh, yeah.